28 direct goal involvements in 26 starts while filling in across all positions in the front line surely equates to a good season for any player, especially one moving to a new league for the first time in his career, and even more so for a player who's only out on loan. Well, those were the numbers Marcus Rashford put out last season at Barcelona, hoping to turn his loan move into a permanent one, but the Spanish Giants turned down the chance to sign him, even though the 28-year-old was available for just 30 million euros. Instead, they preferred to go and spend over 100 million euros on Anthony Gordon and Karim Adeyemi. It is also interesting to note that Rashford was really loved by his teammates at Barcelona, and you could see that from the comments on his goodbye post to the club on social media. This makes us wonder why the club refused to make his loan deal permanent. Decent numbers still in his 20s, okay with being a backup player, great vibes in the dressing room, versatile, really good at set pieces, and available for a very affordable transfer fee, especially in the current market. This feels like an absolute steal. Why then did they send him back to Manchester United? You'll have the answer to that question at the end of this video. This is why Barcelona sent Marcus Rashford back to Manchester United. Football fans, this is the deal you don't want to miss. Whether you're hunting for an iconic World Cup jersey or the colours of your favourite club, Goal90 Shop has the perfect pick for you. And right now, everything is a flat 15% off, with free shipping anywhere in the world. So don't wait. Hit the link in the description, head over to Goal90 Shop and grab your favourite jersey today. First of all, we listed all the positives about Rashford, but one thing we left out were his wages. His wages were just too high for Barcelona to even think of taking on. He is on around £300,000 to £325,000 per week at Manchester United, which gets you closer to £400,000 when you convert to euros. He took a pay cut to join Barcelona on loan, and that still had him sitting on around €270,000 per week in Spain. That is a lot of money to be paying to a backup player, so Barcelona thought it wise to just back out of it. Also, he wasn't an exact fit stylistically. It has become very obvious that Hansi Flick prefers attackers who can run and press relentlessly, which explains his love for Rafinha and his pursuit for Julian Alvarez. It also explains why the club has moved from signing overly skillful players in attacking positions to going for hard workers like Anthony Gordon and Karim Adeyemi. Rashford is simply not that guy. Some fans even called him lazy during his time at Barcelona. He can hit a ball really hard, can put in a really good cross into the box, and is a weapon from dead balls, but pressing is just not his strong suit, especially not under a coach that demands it from minute 1 to minute 90. And here's the thing, Rashford did not do enough on the ball to convince the coach to ignore his off-the-ball weaknesses. His interplay with teammates is decent, but Rashford is not the most creative player, and he cannot really dribble that much anymore. When you play with such a high line, your attackers need to be the first line of defense by pressing relentlessly to win the ball whenever it is lost. If you have one player who doesn't press to the required level, it can affect the entire team. However, if it is a player who can win you games all by himself, the coach can decide to tweak the system to cater to him and cover his weaknesses. Rashford was unable to prove that he is that guy at Barcelona. He is also not a high-volume scoring winger like Mo Salah, for example. Instead, he missed a lot of chances. He boasted a 10.5% conversion rate while missing 10 big chances in La Liga last season. For comparison, Ferran Torres and Robert Lewandowski each had conversion rates upwards of 20%. When you're in a team like Barcelona that creates loads of chances per game, more is expected of you. I mean, Anthony Gordon was playing for Newcastle last season, who generally don't create half as many chances as Barcelona, but he still missed fewer big chances and boasted a better conversion rate than Rashford. But if you ask a lot of Barcelona fans, they tell you that Marcus Rashford lost his chance of signing permanently with the club in April. What happened in that month and how did it seal his fate? We'll tell you in a second, but if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content. Done? Okay, back to the video. April was when Barcelona's season came crashing down, and it appears that Rashford's Barcelona dreams went crashing along with it. Having lost Rafinha to an injury which he picked up during the March international break, Barcelona entered the business end of the season without one of their captains and best players. This was when they needed their backup to really step up in front of goal, but Rashford failed to do that. In the Champions League quarter-final first leg at home against Atleti, Rashford was the fastest player on the pitch. He attempted the most shots and had the most touches in the opposition box. So yes, he was definitely very involved. but when it came to actually burying the game, he failed to do that. He missed one big chance and scuffed a couple other opportunities which could have turned the game on its head. Because of that, he was relegated to the bench ahead of the return leg the following week, with the coach preferring to play a midfielder at left wing. That was a massive statement on his own. When he came off the bench, he was once again unable to affect the game in the way the coach and the fans hoped he would. Mind you, across those 2 legs, he had only one defensive contribution. A lot of Barcelona fans believed that the Englishman failing to step up in the most crucial part of the season sealed his fate permanently. The club was unlikely to invest in a player who did not fit the manager's style of play and also could not win games by himself. Obviously, Gordon is not the greatest goalscorer or creator, but one thing is for sure, he is going to run tirelessly and press relentlessly. So even on days when he's lacking in front of goal, Flick will very likely be happy with him because of his attributes off the ball. Rashford just could not give that. All of this considered, the club was still open to having him for the new season as he is seen as a decent backup option. However, he was only going to be considered if the financial conditions were going to be made a little more favourable for them, but Man United were unwilling to come to the table to negotiate. Reports said that Barcelona were asking for another straight loan and a wage cut, but United refused to have that conversation. They believed that €30 million was a more than fair price for a player of Rashford's stature, and they were open to receiving him back to the club if Barcelona refused to pay up. And well, that was what happened. Eventually, Barcelona went out and signed another versatile winger for less than €30 million in the person of Karim Adeyemi. He might not be as experienced or as dangerous from set pieces as Rashford, but he is younger, more hardworking, and certainly demands much less wages than the Englishman. So the Spanish champions felt very confident with what they had in their attack and made the final decision that they were not going to go further with Rashford. This led to the player saying a final goodbye to the fans and his teammates, as it was now confirmed that his Barcelona chapter was over. He has now been received with open arms at Manchester United, as Michael Carrick has said that he is willing to integrate him back into the club. He has even been given a new number after his previous number 10 shirt was stripped off him and handed to Matthias Cunha before he went out on loan last summer. Offers came for Rashford from Saudi and Turkish clubs, but he turned them down, as he would prefer to be in more competitive leagues. So unless a surprise bid comes from one of Europe's top 5 leagues, he's going to remain at Man United this season. But we now want to hear from you guys. Do you think that Barcelona were right to send Rashford back to United? What other factors do you think might have influenced their decision? Do you think Adeyemi and Gordon are massive upgrades on the Man United man? How well do you think Rashford will perform at Man United this season under Michael Carrick? Get in the comments and talk to us. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.